Hello everyone, Dr. Amy Mercovich here. I'm going to be talking about insomnia today and sleep tips, which is a subject that is very near and dear to my heart because I have been a lifelong insomniac. However, in the last few years, with a lot of research coming out and a lot more people talking about insomnia and sleep tips and sleep optimization, I have been able to find things that have worked for me. And now I can say that I sleep quite well almost every night. An occasional bad night thrown in there, but I know I can get through it and then I'll sleep better the next day. And I've got some really good tips and tricks for you. We're going to talk about 3 different times of the day, and you need to optimize things in all 3 times. So you've got your morning and your daytime, you have 1 to 2 hours before bed, and you have your bedtime routine. So I have tips for all 3 times of the day. And of course, let's just talk about the basics and get those out of the way. So of course, some of the basics that we all know about if you've ever dealt with anything about sleep. You want to keep the same sleep routine, meaning you want to go to bed at about the same time every night and you want to get up about the same time every day. And the research has shown that really you get your most deep sleep in that first part of the night and mostly before midnight. So it really is a good thing to be an early to bed person. If you're staying up to midnight every night, maybe if you sleep midnight to 8 every day and you really can get in that routine, maybe you're getting good enough deep sleep, but the deep sleep that's really rejuvenating for your brain tends to be on the earlier side. So I think between 9 and midnight, if you can sleep in that time, you're really getting some good optimal sleep time in. So having the same routine, we all know that. If you've read anything about sleep, you know that. Obviously, you need a comfortable bed, a supportive mattress, a good pillow. You want your bed to be comfortable. You want the room to be dark. You want the room to be quiet. So whether it's you use something that cancels noise, earplugs, or a white noise type of machine, all good. And then lastly, everyone knows that the room should be on the cool side. So if you can get your room into the low to mid 60s is probably ideal. Now those are all the basics that you probably already know about if you're watching a video that has the word insomnia in the title. Now we need to get to the nitty gritty, the things that really work for people who are severely sleep deprived, as I was for just decades of my life. And the funny story is that when I was a child, under a year old, not even able to walk yet, I used to climb out of my crib all night long, take things out of the drawers in my bedroom, and it would make my mom crazy. So I really, truly was never a sleeper, even as a baby, as a toddler. I remember in elementary school, high school, college, just memories of really never sleeping. I would read through the night and then, of course, end up very tired during the day because that's when my body would be willing to shut down. But of course, in the real world, you can't do that. I was a busy kid, busy college student, and throughout my life been very busy and never had that opportunity to really sleep during the day to even get caught up on the sleep ever. So it was just a day after day after day struggle of not sleeping at night, being tired during the day. And it really is torturous. So I hope that if you're out there and you're watching this video that you'll find some useful tips so you can fix your sleep problem. And of course, us middle-aged women, it gets even harder. So I really recommend that you take these things seriously. Now, if I were to pick one daytime thing that is the most important, it has been getting morning sunlight in my eyeballs. So this means in the morning, taking a walk from any time from this time the sun goes up and as soon as you can. And if it isn't early in the morning, that's okay. Just do it whenever you can. Try to get a morning walk in or sit on your deck or sit on a patio or go stand outside. If it's bright sun, it seems that about 5 minutes is adequate enough, and you're not staring at the sun. You're just walking maybe in the direction of the sunrise. So you're getting some light in your eyes, but you're not looking at the sun. Remember, that's not good for your eyes, but you're looking in that general direction. And don't wear your sunglasses. So I don't wear sunglasses when I go out for this walk in the morning. I just keep my eyes open. I have good posture and I'm walking, looking in the direction of the sunrise. About 5 minutes if it's a sunny day. You need more like in that 15 to 25 minutes if it's a cloudy day. So trying to get out there for a little bit of time in the morning. And that, believe it or not, sets the chemicals in your brain at work so that you're more likely to be sleeping at night. Now, the second daytime thing of 3 tips here for daytime things is to exercise. So obviously this is one that everyone knows. However, I want to point out that what you're trying to do is create a bigger contrast between day and night. You want to be more on during the day and more off at night. And that contrast is really important. So exhausting yourself the best you can during the day is very, very helpful. Whatever exercise you like to do. I think you get bonus points if it's outdoor time too. Of course, if you can ski in the winter or go for a walk in the winter, that's great. Don't just hole up inside and do everything inside if you can help it. So getting that outdoor time and getting that exercise, and just try to exhaust yourself. And if you're really in a battle with insomnia and you haven't slept in days, take a day where you don't let yourself nap and you just really and truly try to just be outdoors and exhaust yourself as much as you can for the day and try to get a good night's sleep that night, just as hitting a reset button. The third daytime thing to do, and this isn't for everyone, but I have found that a short nap after lunch is actually useful to me if I'm stuck in a string of days where I'm not sleeping well. So it might sound counterintuitive because what I just said was to exhaust yourself during the day and have more contrast between day and night, with the exception of doing a short nap or what's called a non-sleep deep rest type of nap. And I actually really like those because when you listen to the script of a NSDR or non-sleep deep rest, at the end, they bring you back out. So you will all of a sudden pop your eyes open and you'll be more alert than if you were just counting on trying to get yourself out of a nap. Or even worse, taking a nap where you get into this really sound deep sleep and then having an alarm have to wake you up because you've got to get back to your day, your job, or whatever you have to do. So a short non-sleep deep rest type of nap, get comfortable, lie down. It doesn't need to be in a bed. You can just lie comfortably anywhere. You could probably do it sitting up if you needed to. You can look on YouTube or the Insight Timer app, which is free, or podcasts, and there are non-sleep deep rest scripts you can listen to for free, and they're easy to come by. Just type in NSDR. Now we're going to move on to our tips for 1 to 2 hours before bed. So the first thing, 2 hours before I want to be asleep. And for me, my bedtime is 9 o'clock. So 2 hours before I want to be asleep, I change out my normal glasses. These are progressive readers to my nighttime progressive readers. Now, these glasses are blue and green blocking. So these are to the extreme. These aren't your basic blue blockers. These are blue and green blocking. So you really are only seeing everything in tones of red. And that, again, is to work on the chemicals in your brain and the hormones and the neurotransmitters to get the ones that are going to help you to sleep be more prominent and to block what's going to keep you more alert. So it's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. In the morning, you want to get all the light, all the spectrum in your eyes. But an hour or two before bed, you really want to dial that down, and you want to have your your blue and green blocking glasses on at that time. So I can see the TV with these if I'm watching TV, or if I'm reading, I can read because I have the readers at the bottom. So you can get these in prescriptions, you can get them in progressive readers, you can get them just plain if you don't need anything. So this has been another really big important thing for me to be consistent on, because it really helps to improve the likelihood that I will go to sleep. And again, these are 1 to 2 hours before bed. And then the other thing, 1 to 2 hours before bed, is to take your supplement. And for me, I have found a couple supplements that I really like. One is called Insomnitol from Designs for Health, and this is a chewable version of the Insomnitol. And it has several things in it that help you to sleep. It has melatonin, it has 5-HTP. I need to put my glasses back on. It has inositol and L-theanine and vitamin B6. So a serving is 2 of these, but what I often do is I take one and then I put the second one by my bed right on the nightstand. And if I wake up and it's before 2 a.m., then I am allowed to take another little bit of my supplement. And I sometimes will take a little bite of one and just chew a little bit. Sometimes I'll take the whole thing if I really am awake and I'm afraid I'm not going to go back to sleep. But that is a secret weapon, is to decide what time. If it's before that time, you can take a little bit more of a supplement. And especially you ladies out there who wake up during the night and can't go back to sleep, what my first question usually is, well, do you get up to go to the bathroom before that time that you can't go back to sleep? So a lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm up at midnight to go to the bathroom. So what I say is have something chewable. And this is the other supplement that I like, is this Dream Melatonin and 5-HTP dark chocolate supplement. Same thing, maybe take half of one at bedtime or 1 to 2 hours before bed. I usually do my supplement about 1 hour before bed. And then take the other half and put it by the bed. And if you wake up at midnight and one of your problems is not being able to go back to sleep at your, say, 3 a.m. wake up, then at midnight, chew the other half of the chocolate, or take one or half of one of the Insomnitol, or whatever chewable supplement you like. I do like chewable because you don't have to worry about swallowing something. It gets into your system quicker because you're chewing it up, and you know for sure your body's dissolving it and it's going to get into your system. Here are close-ups of the 2 supplements that I like. I happen to like melatonin. I know that melatonin is maybe a little controversial of whether you should be doing it. I think you need to trust your source. If it's not a company that outside tests their products, then you really never know how much melatonin is actually in the supplement, which is why I like the company Designs for Health, because they do have outside companies that come in and test their supplements to make sure what they are saying is in there is actually in there. So I trust that company, but I probably wouldn't just take one off the Walmart shelf of just something super cheap, because I don't know that I could trust it. Other supplements, of course, there's CBD types of supplements. There's a Charlotte's Web sleep supplement that's chewable that I like, and I've used that as well. There's, of course, the whole world of THC, and that depends on whether you think that's a good thing to do or whether it's legal in your state. But that's something worth looking into if you are a severe insomniac, because that THC, especially the types, the species that are sort of bred for sleep, they really can be very effective, and you don't need very much, perhaps. You don't need it very often, perhaps, but if you're a severe insomniac, I think that might be worth looking into as a THC type of edible supplement. But again, I know that's a little more controversial. You have to go with what you think is right, and it can be helpful. Okay, back to before bed. Another thing, 1 to 2 hours before bed, is your hot shower or your sauna time. So in the morning, if you're a cold bath person, cold shower person, do that in the morning. Then 1 to 2 hours before bed, you want to do something that heats your body up so that your body will naturally then try to do the opposite, which is to cool your body down. Our temperature actually has to go down about 1 degree for your body to go into sleep. So if an hour or 2 before bed, you take a really hot shower, you get in the sauna for 15, 20 minutes, and you get your body heated up, then your body's going to naturally try to cool yourself down. And in doing so, that could help you go into a nice sleep. Okay, now we're talking about bedtime itself. And I have a couple things. One is I like to use an Oura ring, just in general. Not that this helps you to go to sleep, it does not. The Oura ring, and there's, I think, a Whoop, and there's other things too similar. I put it on at night, and it's going to measure different things. Respiration, it looks at heart rate variability, all well and good. But what I really like to use it for is this definition of the types of sleep I'm getting and the amount of time I'm getting in each type of sleep. So again, deep sleep you want in the beginning of your night. You tend to get it from in that first half of the night, and I'm always glad when I look at my sleep and my deep sleep is an hour and a half to 2 hours. I feel like I've won the sleep lottery. So that's great. Deep sleep is where your brain detoxifies, and of course that is very healthy for us. Then the second half of the night tends to be more the time when you're getting your REM sleep. And again, I'm always thrilled if I'm getting close to 2 hours of REM sleep. And then what's great about the Oura Ring or a device such as that's similar to this is that you get a score. So you can start looking in the morning and just seeing what your score was for your sleep, how much sleep you got, how long you were in bed, how much movement you had, how many wake ups, and then how much deep sleep, how much light sleep, and how much REM sleep. And awake time, of course. And I find that fascinating, and I have found I've been able to get my score up into the 90s, which I can't even tell you how low my score would have been in my true insomnia days. So this has been a fun tool. It makes me happy to see that I got a 93 or a 94 score, and then I think, wow, I can tackle anything today because I've gotten great sleep. So Oura Ring and Whoop device, and there's other things too, perhaps even a Apple Watch. I'm not sure. Maybe that has the function of measuring some of your sleep data as well. Okay, back to bedtime. A couple other things that I do. One is I read before bed, so I always have a book to read. I'll often read, so I take my supplement an hour before I want to be asleep. I start getting ready for bed. I bring my book to bed and I read for a little while. And then when I set the book down because I realize I'm getting maybe a little sleepy, or I just feel like it's getting close to the time where if I don't get to sleep soon, I might miss my wave of the catching the wave to go into sleep. So at that point, what I do is I switch to an audio book and I use this headband. And what it is, it's a headband that has the earbuds right in the headband. So you put that on, and the little speakers are right by your ears, and you can lay on your side, you can lay on your back, you can roll around, and it's just going to stay right in place. It's very comfortable. And then what also is great about it is to turn it off. I don't have to touch my phone. All I need to do is press the middle button here and hold it down, and it'll very quietly say that it's powered off, and I just pull it off my head and I fling it to the side, and then I go right into sleep. So I don't have to really do anything complicated to turn it off, and this works like a charm. And what I'll notice is at the point that I'm no longer paying attention to what I'm listening to, like I realize, oh, I don't know what they're talking about in the story. That's when I know, okay, I'm starting to drift off, and I turn it off, pull it off, fling it to the side, and go into sleep. Okay, the last thing I do at night, and this I don't do in the heat of the summer because it's a little too hot, but I have a weighted blanket. And this weighted blanket, oh, it feels so good. It's so calming to the nervous system. So again, if you think about what might be keeping you awake, that you've got too much brain activity going on, you can't quite keep the thoughts away. That's why listening to something can help, because you're going to distract your brain just enough. You're trying to listen to something. And by the way, not something you're trying to learn, not a very exciting story that's thrilling or too engaging, something boring. Just put a boring book, or just something that you don't care that much about, because you are going to miss a lot of it. But again, nervous system, too much nervous system activity, you're trying to calm it down. And physically having weight on your body, you're physically calming your body down, which can influence your brain as well. You're trying to tap into that parasympathetic nervous system, not our fight or flight response. That's sympathetic. We're trying to get that shut down. We're trying to tap into our calm, peaceful parasympathetic nervous system. And one of the ways is to have that weight on your body that physically kind of holds you back. And it's very comfortable. I just have a twin size, so it just goes on my side of the bed. And that feels great. And I love using my weighted blanket. Don't get too cheap of one, or you will hear the noise of the little beads rattling. Get a really heavy one. Get one that's a higher end that keeps the beads in place more, so you don't have noise when you're rolling around. Okay, so I have been a great sleeper the last couple years. I'm always fine-tuning. I'm always learning new things. I'm willing to try something new. Once in a while, I fall out of that good sleep pattern, but I know the way back. I just have to go through my list and really get back to the basics. Okay, let's summarize all of the tips we've talked about so that you can get a great night's sleep. So during the day, morning sunlight in your eyes, Get outdoors and get some sunlight. Don't stare right at the sun. Just get in the direction of the sunrise, or even if it's not sunrise, it's not too late. Just try to get out in the morning and get that light in your eyes. And then also during the day, you want to create the contrast between day and night. More on during the day, more off during the night. So tire yourself out, and not with just stressful things, but with exercise, and bonus points if that exercise can be outdoors. That's a great thing. And then if you can do a nap, or you have time for a nap or some kind of rest after lunch, a non-sleep deep rest, even just 10 minutes. I pull up my Insight Timer app. I type in NSDR. I choose one that's about 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever amount of time I have. Hit go, close my eyes, get comfortable, and it feels great to come out after that. Okay, so now we're in the 1 to 2 hours before bed. Red glasses, blocking out the blue and green light, and you can still watch TV with those. I take my supplement of choice for the night. I try to mix it up, so maybe I'm taking an Insomnitol or a dark chocolate one with this melatonin and 5-HTP, whatever you like to take, CBD, Charlotte's Web, sleep, whatever you take. I do that an hour before I want to be asleep, and then hot shower or sauna 1 to 2 hours before bed, so you start to get your own body to try to cool down. And then bedtime, read something, listen to something, and use your weighted blanket. Of course, you're in your comfortable bed. And these have been my life-saving tips for curing my insomnia, getting a good night's sleep, and being a much happier person during the day. I hope this helps you too.